Hi, I am Dr. Sai Prasad Reddy. Welcome to the subject software testing. Today we are going to discuss about interview questions, frequently asked questions and multiple choice questions about the fundamentals of testing. See, I am going to prepare the interview questions sessions based on the different topics in software testing. Now, we are going to discuss about the software testing interview questions on fundamentals of testing. Now, these sessions will help you much, and these sessions will help you more to crack the interview. And also I have included multiple choice questions which will help you in competitive exams. Some companies, they will conduct a technical screening test when you attend software testing job. And these multiple choice questions will help you for all the competitive exams regarding software engineering course. Now, interview questions. What are the characteristics of good test engineer? Or what are the characteristics of successful test engineer? What makes good test engineer? Who is said to be good or successful test engineer? How can you say you are good or successful test engineer? Why should I hire you for a test engineer position? Like this, you will get questions in the interview. For all these questions, the answer will be the same. If they ask you what are the characteristics of good test engineer or successful test engineer, and what makes a good or successful test engineer, and who is said to be a good test engineer or successful test engineer, when you are attending the interview for the software test engineer position, they may ask you, how can you say that you are a good or successful test engineer? Or they may ask you how you will justify for the software test engineer position if I hire you, or why should I hire you for software test engineer position? That means you have to explain the qualities of a good test engineer, and you have to justify the each and every point in the interview. For all these questions, answer will be the same. Depending upon the question and depending upon the criteria, you have to customize the answer. Now, what makes a good test engineer? A good test engineer has a test to break attitude. That means he has to have an attitude to break the application in order to find the defects. And a software test engineer should be able to understand the point of view of the customer or the point of view of the client. That means what the client is asking, what the client requirement, what the client need, what he is thinking about his application. And a software test engineer should have a strong desire towards the quality. Right? That means if you want to become a successful test engineer, you have to have a strong desire for the quality of the application. And at the same time, as a software test engineer, you have to maintain a cooperative relationship with the developers. And you should be able to communicate with both the technical people, that means the development team, as well as customers or the management people. Because if you want to become a successful software test engineer, the communication skills or the way how you are communicating with the people is very, very, very important. It will play a vital role. Because every day you are supposed to communicate with the development team, and every day you are supposed to communicate with the client team or the customer team. Right? This is very important. And notice the little things that others may miss or ignore. So you have to concentrate more even on the little things also, even on the small things also. And the testers are fundamentally honest and incorruptible. That means, so you should be a straightforward. There should not be any bias. in reporting the defects. You should be always very clear and straightforward in finding the defects, and after finding the defects, reporting the defects also. And the judgment skills. Here, the judgment skills are very, very, very important for the software test engineer. Why? Because sometimes you may not have enough time to test. Sometimes under the pressures, you are supposed to do the testing thoroughly. Under these conditions, the time is limited. Now, you have to judge which areas of the application has to be tested first and which areas of the application you are supposed to be tested next. That means, for example, if there are 200 requirements, you are not having enough time to complete the testing. Then, apart from these 200 requirements, you have to judge which requirements have to be tested first and which requirements are tested to be next and which requirements are supposed to be tested in the last, if time permits. These judgment skills are very, very important. And the last but not the least is patience. If you want to become a good software test engineer, obviously you have to have the patience. Now, all these points are important, and all these points has to be covered in the interview for these questions. Now, why should I hire you for the software test engineer position? Then you have to say, I am having a test to break attitude. I am able to understand the point of view of the customer. I am having a strong desire towards the quality. I will maintain a cooperative relationship with the developers. And I am having an excellent communication skills in order to communicate with the technical people as well as with the customers. And I will notice even a little things. I will be honest and incorruptible in finding and reporting the defects. And I am having an excellent judgment skills. These judgment skills will help in testing when the time is limited. And last but not the least is I am having much patience. Like this. So all these points has to be covered for all these questions, right? So now these questions are obviously they will ask you all these questions. They may ask you in the interview. You have to be thorough. And see here the last question: why should I hire you for test engineer position? This is a technical question which will be asked for the technical people. In HR people they will ask you why should I hire you? That is different. But here in the perspective of your position, in the perspective of your technicalities, why should I hire you for the test engineer position? That means here for this question you have to cover only the technical points. Clear? Now, and see these are the MCQs, multiple choice questions, which will help you more. If you analyze each and every question, then you will get command on the subject. And these type of questions will help you for the GATE exam and even for the technical screening tests and even for other competitive exams also. Very, very important. Now, when reporting faults to the developers, test engineers should be. That means while reporting the defects to the developers, what the test engineer should be as polite, constructive and helpful as possible. Firm about insisting that a bug is not a feature if it should be fixed. Diplomatic, sensitive to the way they may react to criticism, all of the above. You have to choose the appropriate option. See, all these multiple choice questions are typical. I have designed these multiple choice questions in a typical way, right? These will help you more. I will assure you, these questions will help you more. Now, the answer is all of the above. While reporting the defects to the developers, the test engineer should be as polite as possible and it should be constructive and helpful as possible. And all these, the three characteristics should be there for the software test engineers. Next, what is true about the software test engineers? See, here, wherever the question demands, I am including the explanation also for your better understanding. Some questions may not demand the explanation. Some questions may be straight questions. For those questions, I have not included the explanation. Right? What is true about software test engineers. They have given 4 options. The evaluation done by the test engineers is not influenced by the personal experience. See, you have to read each and every option thoroughly without any misunderstanding. The evaluation done by software test engineers is not influenced by the personal experience. Second, experienced software test engineers always guarantee high software quality. Third, testers need good communication skills. Last, testers and programmers must always have an opposite mindset. Now, for this question, I have given the explanation. Right? See now here. Generally, some software test engineers who are having a rich experience will influence the evaluation. What do you mean with the evaluation? There is nothing but assessment. That means running the test cases, finding the defects and reporting the defects. That is the evaluation. As a software test engineer, you have to evaluate the application. That means you have to find the defects in the application. Now, evaluation done by the test engineers is not influenced, he is telling, he is not influenced by the personal experience, which is wrong. Because if the software test engineers are having the rich experience in testing, they will influence, right? And second, experienced test engineers always guarantee high software quality. Even though the software test engineers are having a high experience or rich experience or good experience, nobody can give you the guarantee of the software quality. When can you give the guarantee? If and only if the experienced software test engineer finds more and more number of defects. After finding the defects, those defects should be fixed. Those defects should be resolved by the developers. Then only the quality of the software will increase. Test engineers need good communication skills. Yes. This we have already discussed. And the software test engineers and the programs must always have an opposite mindset. No. They are not supposed to have the opposite mindset. Now, see the explanation. The evaluation done by the software test engineers will be influenced by their personal experience. Experienced software test engineers cannot assure or guarantee for high software quality always. Even though the concerned software test engineer is experienced, sometimes they don't know everything and some may have lack of skill and vision. Software test engineers should maintain a cooperative relationship with the developers. Right? This is the explanation. Now, answer is correct. Right? See. Next. Which is not true? Which is not true about the black box test engineers? That means software test engineers. You have to choose the wrong answer apart from these 4 options. Right? The black box test engineer should be able to understand the functional specifications or requirements document. Should be able to understand the source code. He is highly motivated to find the faults and he is creative to find the system's weakness. Apart from these 4 options, you have to choose which is not correct. Now, see, generally, the software test engineers should be able to understand these client requirements. Client requirements may be of 2 types. One is a functional requirement, second one is a non-functional requirements. Irrespective of the functional or non-functional, the software test engineers should be able to understand the total, all the requirements in the document. Because the software test engineers has to perform black box testing based on the requirements only. They are not concerned with the source code. The source code is the responsibility of the software developers. The software test engineer is not supposed to understand the source code. He is no way concerned with the source code. Source code is the responsibility of the software development team only, not the software test engineers. And software test engineer is highly motivated to find the faults. Yes. And the software test engineer should have a creativity to find the system's weakness. Yes, this is also true. And which is wrong? Option C is wrong. Sorry, option B is wrong. Because should be able to understand the source code. This is wrong. See now, explanation. In order to do effective testing and efficient testing, software test engineer should be able to understand all requirements. That is both the functional requirements and non-functional requirements. Software test engineer should have a strong desire for the quality. Black box testing will be done based on the requirements only. Source codes will be designed by the software developer. White box testing will be done by the software developers based on the source code. And so software test engineer is not concerned with the source code and need not to understand the source code. So you have to choose which is not true. So option B is the correct one. Right? Yeah. So please subscribe my channel for the further videos. These videos will help you, these video sessions will help you more for getting a job in the software industry, for the software test engineer position. All my sessions will help you from 0 to 3 years of experience people. That means from freshers to up to 3 years of experience people. Right? So please subscribe my channel, share my sessions to all the students community, those who are looking for the job in the IT industry for the software test engineer position. And don't forget to raise the comments. Thank you. Thank you very much.